各位觀眾大家好，歡迎收睇26分鐘見證實錄。過去10年嚟啊，手工啤酒咧喺卑詩省掀起咗熱潮，啤酒廠嘅數量由5到50間急速增長至超過200間，唔單止推動咗地方經濟，亦都成為咗社區文化嘅一部分。咁究竟卑詩手工啤酒係點樣喺短短10年之間迅速崛起？而喺新冠疫情嘅衝擊之下，又係點樣轉危為安，繼續生存落去呢？
We've lost 20 breweries locally in the province in the last year. We'd never have lost breweries up until that point. The worst case scenario would be another 20 to 25 breweries easy. I know of at least 8 breweries now who are thinking they may close this summer.
The cost of packaging, the aluminum, your labels, that has increased a lot. The cost of labor has increased a lot. So just on your basic cost of goods, there's a charge. And then on every liter, we're paying 40 cents to the government, to the provincial government, just for the right to produce that beer. That's before we've sold it. It makes it really difficult for me to sell it to you at a price that, we can make money and that you're willing to pay. Like that price doesn't really exist. So somebody has to, take the hit, and the consumer isn't going to. None of us are getting rich doing this. Most of us are in it because we're passionate about it, but it shouldn't be just passion, We should be able to make it a living in doing this as well. Breweries are more than just suppliers of craft beer. Like we create community. We're a gathering place for people, and you take the craft breweries out of many communities and they really suffer, right?
I like that sense of getting a beer and then sitting at a table, not just me and her, but at a big long table, and you have to engage with people.
2000年，卑詩省嘅啤酒世界仍然顯得好寂靜，全省只係有25間啤酒廠，規模有限，規則亦都好嚴苛。嗰個時候，釀酒師甚至乎唔能夠喺自己嘅廠房裏面為顧客倒上一杯啱啱釀好嘅啤酒。
This is the first major liquor review to take place in over a decade. The event to launch our new website as part of the liquor review consultations. Today I announced that one of the recommendations is to look at introducing liquor in grocery stores.
2013年開始，卑詩省嘅酒業環境逐漸鬆動，一系列嘅關鍵政策陸續推出，為手工啤酒打開咗新嘅可能。好多人認為呢一年係省內手工啤酒走向繁盛嘅起點。2015年4月1號，卑詩省嘅新酒類管制法例正式實施，包括雜貨店以及超級市場等都可以開始售賣酒類產品。
There are almost 100 BC wineries represented on the Save On Foods grocery store shelves here today, and there are about, I'm told, 500 different wines to choose from.
同年7月，更開放俾酒廠銷售嚟自其他廠家嘅產品，選擇更加多元化。
Starting today, all manufacturers in British Columbia who have a lounge or a special event area can begin serving other types of alcohol for customers to enjoy during their visit. This is a no-nonsense change that manufacturers in this province have asked for.
2016年5月20號，卑詩省府召開記者會，宣布喺同年嘅7月3號起推行新措施，令到省內小型或地區釀酒廠生產嘅酒類產品銷售成本得以降低。
Our government is taking action to provide $10 million in economic support for BC craft industry by reducing the markup rate for craft beer products. Effective July 3rd, the markup for small and regional breweries will be reduced by 25% per liter.
另外，特製啤酒企業將唔再需要事先將全部銷售收益交俾酒類分銷處之後，先至實行批發提高價格，而咁樣可以提高企業嘅資金流動，有利於佢哋喺設備方面等嘅更多投資。
By reducing the markup rate for craft brewers by between 25 and 27%, we are encouraging the growth of an industry that has made significant cultural, social, and economic contributions to our province.
2016年夏天，省府調低加價費率，並且為中小型嘅酒廠推出新嘅繳費模式。短短幾年，啤酒廠數量就倍增，直至2019年，全省已經有近200間手工啤酒廠，成為社區同埋旅遊嘅重要吸引力。就喺呢一股熱潮之中，嚟自三角洲嘅農夫 Ken Melliston 亦都投身其中。佢同附近嘅農夫一齊開啟咗佢哋同手工啤酒嘅故事。
I'm growing the hops on this farm here. We've got about 5 acres in right now, which should be good for us at the start, and then we'll sort of see how things go. Hops is sort of a new industry in BC, even though it's an old industry, but it disappeared for so many years. So it's kind of coming back now over the last few years.
We will have tours eventually that will go, and so people can see the hops and see everything that's grown around. I think we have a unique experience of what it's going to be coming out to experience something unique as opposed to just going to another craft brewery. Like, you're going to be able to experience the farm and feel all the farming background that has come together to create this project.
So that would be some malt that's been crushed already. Starting was kind of an organic process. I had actually looked at putting in hops, independent of starting a brewery. My neighbors were already growing grain and malting some of it, and then other neighbors were home brewing. And once we kind of connected the dots, we're like, well, we're growing all of the ingredients. We're all local farm families. We're making the beer. I think we have a very unique story. And that was sort of the genesis for us starting Barnside.
但係2020年新冠疫情席捲卑詩省，整個手工啤酒行業瞬間陷入困境。
This Deputy Minister's Committee will guide a whole government approach to this pandemic and ensure that we are as prepared as we could possibly be.
We laugh a lot about our business plan because we started 2 months before COVID hit. That's when we opened. So we didn't really account for that, and that has really made things difficult in so many ways.
疫情打擊手工啤酒業，同行都諗辦法調整商業模式，希望經營落去。
I have seen a lot of brewers sharing sales reps, right? So if they let one sales rep go, perhaps multiple breweries can shift and actually share and reps rather than actually letting someone go. They can take a third of their time, so that's working. But it's a tough situation for breweries because no one can make sales calls, no one is dropping in store, no one is dropping anything off. You can mail things still, but their business is just dramatically shifted in terms of what they can actually do. And stores don't want to see them, right? Every person in store is a risk to actual health.
不過 Garrett 估計疫情過後有部分行家需要結業。
Our summer sales are going to be down considerably, and that's okay. I said at the top of the interview that I think businesses that survive and can make it through this will actually be in a better position. There's a lot of concentration in the industry. There's a lot of players that were competing, and a lot of them unfortunately won't make it. So those that do are going to actually have a better chance to survive in 2021.
而因應新冠肺炎疫情，卑詩省酒類及大麻管理處喺2020年3月宣布，臨時授權本地嘅釀酒廠製造酒精搓手液，以協助對抗新型冠狀病毒，為手工啤酒產業轉型提供咗思路。而呢一間釀酒廠就喺當年嘅4月決定生產酒精搓手液，更加同數理市府合作，提供免費酒精搓手液俾市內前線工作人員。
We've actually partnered with the city of Surrey. We're making donations of hand sanitizer to them and have prioritized a lot of their medical facilities. At their request, they've given us a list of some of the really high vulnerable facilities that they've asked that we do prioritize for them. We are producing full tilt. We're making as quickly as we can. There have been obviously some complexities with procurement of raw materials, no different than I'm sure a lot of our other peers within brewing and distilling are facing. But our commitment throughout this is that we will make hand sanitizer as long as there's a need, as long as we can.
喺疫情嘅衝擊之下，卑詩手工啤酒業喺政策支持同業界自救之下艱難存活。
During COVID, we got things done that no one thought would happen. We were able to move mountains. Breweries in COVID were not allowed patios prior to COVID. We changed that. The government, working with industry, changed that in 72 hours.
2020年嘅5月22號，卑詩省政府宣布允許手工啤酒廠以及餐飲業臨時擴展露天或服務區域，支持社交距離，並且促進疫情期間嘅安全恢復業務。
First, indoor dining at all food and liquor serving premises is paused.
隨住疫情反彈，2021年3月29號，省府暫停全省餐廳及酒吧室內堂食，只係允許露天用餐或者係外賣服務。手工啤酒業再次面臨挑戰。喺疫情結束之後，行業雖然開始復甦，但係仲未嚟得及恢復元氣。加美關稅戰又接踵而至，令到手工啤酒業再度面臨沉重嘅壓力。
No room left for Mexico or for Canada. No, the tariffs, they're all set. They go into effect tomorrow.
So today, the United States launched a trade war against Canada.
Immediately, our liquor stores will be pulling all red state liquor products off the shelf. Procurement for everything the government buys, whether it's crown corporations, health authorities, core government, will be buying Canadian first. We'll be prioritizing BC products.
2025年3月4號，美國對本國多類商品徵收25%嘅關稅，能源產品則係10%。作為回應，本國對於大約300億加元嘅美國商品實施報復性關稅，亦喺呢一個時候，加美關稅戰正式打響。
We've never had a true, standard years that you could use to forecast the future or know how things will. Every year has been different.
疫情嘅衝擊令到唔少行業咧都舉步維艱，但係卑詩手工啤酒就依然屹立不倒。目前全省仍然有超過240間嘅酒廠營運，但係挑戰並未就此結束㗎。下一節翻嚟，我哋將會探討手工啤酒業界正面臨嘅新嘅壓力同埋挑戰。原材料成本上升啊，加上稅制同關稅嘅衝擊，令到唔少小型酒廠難以繼續生存。如今行業代表就呼籲省府改革稅制，避免更多嘅小型酒廠倒閉。卑詩手工啤酒能否喺逆境之中繼續生存？未來又將會何去何從？我哋一齊去睇睇。再次去到Bansai Brewery， 比起5年之前啱啱進軍手工啤酒行業嘅時候充滿信心，東主 Ken Maniston 嘅臉上多咗幾分愁容。
So when we're talking about just a single can of beer, obviously there's our cost of goods, the ingredients that are going in there. Those have been somewhat stable. They haven't increased a lot. The cost of packaging, the aluminum, your labels, that has increased a lot. The cost of labor has increased a lot. So just on your basic cost of goods, there's a charge. And then on every liter, we're paying 40 cents to the government, to the provincial government, just for the right to produce that beer. That's before we've sold it.
佢坦言，目前嘅環境對於好似佢咁樣嘅小型手工啤酒廠十分不利。
There's just so much tax tied to that product, it makes it really difficult for me to sell it to you at a price that, we can make money and that you're willing to pay. Like that price doesn't really exist. So somebody has to, take the hit, and the consumer isn't going to, because they have options from big beer that are going to be cheap because of the way the model is currently. So it is challenging. None of us are getting rich doing this. Most of us are in it because we're passionate about it. But it shouldn't be just passion, We should be able to make it a living in doing this as well. I was really getting into it.
Well, it was hilarious when I was talking to her. What it's about is we're taxed. There's a certain amount of tax. The biggest challenge in BC craft beer currently, or craft beer across Canada, is cash flow. Everyone's in an affordability crisis across Canada. We understand that. But beer has been particularly hit hard only because it hasn't recovered since COVID. And then on top of that, our average cost increases have been about over 30% in the last 3 years. Those prices can't be passed along. Those increases can't be passed along to the consumer because other companies who are much larger than us, the foreign-owned domestic companies, their economies of scale allow them to keep their prices lower, and we can't really, that's who we compete against, so we can't go too much further ahead.
For us, no different than any other brewery in the province, the markup is what's really holding us back. And I think there is maybe some misconception about like, well, you know, are there too many breweries, or, you know, are they good operators? Even if we're a very good operator and we do everything well, it's a challenge. Like there's no reward for doing a really good job, and that's, you know, the system that is holding us back. So it's not allowing us to grow. It's not allowing us to hire more people. It's putting a lot of pressure on breweries.
卑詩手工啤酒協會執行總監 Ken Beattie 表示，行業目前正處於關鍵時刻。
We've lost 20 breweries locally in the province in the last year. We'd never have lost breweries up until that point. We were always a net positive, but now we've lost 20 breweries, and all of it has to do with cash flow and the affordability crisis. So we're asking for relief from a tax model and a level playing field in regards to how we compete or what the government gives to the world's largest breweries. It's an unfair playing field for us.
I think I can speak for all of our you know, group that we're owners. I mean, it really is creating a legacy, making you know, creating a place where, you know, our friends and family and the community can gather and, you know, share and connect and have a good time, and that we're, you know, that we're a part of that we're helping create that. I mean, that is reward in itself, and that's something that we were all focused on going in. And like I said, I think we're doing that really well and want to continue to do that. You know, we just need a model that supports us continuing to do that.
2025年7月31號，卑詩手工啤酒商協會喺溫哥華啟動保護卑詩手工啤酒運動 ，Protect BC Craft Beer， 敦促省府加快手工啤酒加價稅制改革。
So we launched this campaign. We've been working with the government for over 15 months. And what the campaign is about is it's an outdated tax model that's 8 years old. And we're looking for it to change so that we can reflect the current market conditions versus what we decided 8 years ago with the government.
而呢一項運動亦都得到卑詩省餐飲業協會嘅大力支持。
They provide thousands of jobs. They have hundreds of businesses. They buy local product. And there's a model of which they are trying to get to, which is very similar to the wine industry, that if you are using local inputs into your product, that you get a slightly different tax advantage. And the taxation on craft beer in BC, it hasn't been updated for a while. And so what they're asking for, it gets technical. It's because, you know, liquor taxes are hard. But what they're saying is that the world has changed, and no one ever changed the taxation scheme on local breweries. So we entirely support their position, yeah.
本台就手工啤酒業面臨嘅挑戰，向卑詩省農業及食物廳發出訪問邀請，得到廳長布夏尼嘅書面回應。佢表示，省府理解卑詩手工啤酒商協會所提出嘅關注，正係檢視現行嘅啤酒加價結構，以確保其反映當前嘅營商環境。省府將會持續同協會緊密合作，支持呢一個產業嘅長期發展。對此，卑詩保守黨就業經濟發展及創新事務評論員 Gavin Du 就批評，新民主黨政府並冇真正想要解決問題。
Like so many British Columbians, our craft brewing sector is tired of big talk from David Eby with no follow-through. Now, what we need to see from government is a pivot from just talking about Donald Trump and blaming everything on tariffs toward a focus on actually solving the problems that are within their control. This government can solve problems to enable our craft brewing sector to grow. This government can solve problems to enable small business to be successful in BC. This government actually has control over a huge range of different tax and policy levers, and they need to get focused on the things they can actually change.
而 Canbeatty 就表示，卑詩手工啤酒業協會同省府已經持續溝通1年幾，佢對省府喺呢件事上嘅處理態度並唔滿意。
We've been a bit of a victim, in the government's defense, we've been a bit of a victim of timing. There's lots of studies done. We participated in that, what the government wanted us to do. Then the election came. Then new ministers were put in place, and it takes a minister, particularly the liquor file is very difficult. It takes a minister time to get up to speed. Then tariffs hit, so then that caused chaos. And the government, whenever anything like that happens, tariffs, interprovincial trade, the liquor board, the provincial liquor board has to divert its attention to that. But that to me is not a valid excuse. You should be able to do other things.
而手工啤酒廠業主 Ken Maniston 亦表示，即使面臨挑戰，佢對於呢一個行業嘅熱情依舊。
I don't think I have any regrets. I mean, I think what we wanted to do, me personally, when we started was, create that space for people to gather. Because we didn't have, Delta's a big city, but we didn't have a lot of that. And we've done that. Like, we've done a great job of that, and we get feedback on that. We win awards for that. So no regrets. Is it a much harder business than maybe we thought it would be? For sure. And that makes it more challenging, but the ultimate things that we wanted to accomplish, we are accomplishing that. So, we're building a bit of a legacy, and those are important things. We've been able to do things like launch our Barnside Harvest Festival in the fall, which is a big music festival. Been a huge success for the community. Like, these are all wonderful things that we've been able to do, Would we like the business to be a more successful model financially? Yeah, of course we would. It makes it a little bit more worthwhile to be doing the work.
不過佢亦都希望省府能夠正視行業目前所遭遇嘅問題，幫助佢哋早日解決困境。
Our hope is that at some point in the future, the fact that we're growing our own ingredients is not just beneficial for the consumer, because I think it is, but it's also beneficial for us as a brewery, or for other breweries that want to use BC grown ingredients. I think growing local is so important these days. We talk about it a lot with tariffs and everything that's happening in the States, but we could truly support local if we can get craft breweries using BC ingredients. Then we really are resilient, and we're supporting not only craft beer, but also agriculture.
And we really hope this will be resolved quickly, because they've had all the information. And it is a sense of urgency to our members. People will ask, when did you expect this to happen? And my answer is yesterday. That's when I expected it to happen. I want it done. The cost of doing nothing will be an acceleration of brewery closures. So we've lost 20. I don't have a crystal ball. My intuition tells me another 20 to 25 will close. That's a loss of jobs, and that's a loss of community space. And that should be enough for the government to consider.
And breweries are more than just suppliers of craft beer. Like, we create community. We're a gathering place for people, and you take the craft breweries out of many communities, and they'll really suffer, right?
I like that sense of sitting, getting a beer, and then sitting at a table, not just me and her, but at a big long table, and you have to engage with people.
好啦，今集嘅節目時間就差唔多啦。咁如果觀眾對我哋嘅節目有啲乜嘢意見嘅話，係好歡迎大家以電郵嘅方式同我哋聯絡㗎。我哋嘅電郵地址係 mag26@fairchildtv.com。如果觀眾想上網重溫今集嘅節目，亦都可以上到去我哋嘅網站3w.fairchildtv.com， 點擊節目重溫一欄就可以睇得返㗎啦。下星期同樣時間再同大家見面，晚安。